I made some mistakes my first year as a real estate agent. Listen in so you can learn from them. So these are the 7 mistakes I made my first year in real estate. And the whole purpose of this is to really give you a clear indication as to what not to do, because these are some things that I should have done from the very beginning. The first one that comes to mind is not getting a CRM. And I was writing everything in these little index cards and trying to file them in this little box. And by the time I realized that it was getting too big and I didn't update them and I couldn't find them and it was a mess. So very first thing I recommend that you do early on is get a CRM. Get something as simple as Follow Up Boss that can grow with you. And if your brokerage has one already, even better, use that one. The point is, as you meet people, as you engage with them, it's time to add them over to your CRM. And look, having it on your phone, that's not a CRM, right? You can export them with MC Backup Pro. We've done a video on that before. Now, here's the thing. When I started in real estate, I was door knocking and I was cold calling, I was doing open houses, and everyone that I met, I literally would write down on a piece of paper and then put them into an index card. That was terrible. What you need to do is think way ahead and start creating this massive database that you can nurture over the years. Whether you're door knocking, whether it's your sphere, whether it's family, whether it's online leads, whatever you're doing, do it right from the very beginning. That's number one. Number 2, I learned this one so much later and it hurt so bad. That's having a plan for your past clients. My first year in real estate, I think I closed, it was around 25 transactions. I did great my first year. But the thing is, I didn't really have a system to follow up with my past clients. They were in my phone. And when I would remember, I would follow up with them. I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to call Joe. Hey Joe. Oh yeah, I forgot to call Patty. Let me call Patty. And that was not a great system. So I need you to start adding them into the CRM, number 1, right? And create a system of follow-up. Create a system where you're either delivering some type of value to them quarterly, texting them every other month, following up with them with a phone call, sending them something in the mail. It's time to create a system. And there are lots of systems you can use. One of them that comes to mind is LC Nurture, right? It's specifically for your past clients and for your sphere. Just have a plan. That's the idea behind this. Don't overthink it and don't not do it. Geez, if you want to build a business that lasts a long time, have that plan for your past clients. Number 3, and this one is a little bit weird for some people, but look, when I first started in real estate, I saw everybody suited up, tie, suit, nice shoes, and I thought, all right, let's give this a shot. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna be suited up. I literally suited up my first day door knocking. I went out door knocking for approximately 6 hours. Dress shoes, tie, Southern California, May, summer. And I was sweating. The next day I'm like, maybe I shouldn't wear a suit. So I still wore the tie and my dress shoes. At the end of the week, I was like, I don't think I should door knock with this. I should change my shoes, because I was already door knocking for over 20 hours that week. And so it took me a while to figure out that the suit wasn't for me. And it can be for you. Some people, all the way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nice dress, great pants, shoes. Some people love that and they look great in it. But what I learned later on was that suiting up wasn't for me. And I wish I had learned that a little bit sooner. 2 reasons. 1, I bought a whole bunch of suits that I didn't end up wearing. A second reason is because I started identifying with who I felt comfortable with. And look, I wasn't showing up in shorts and sandals, right? I was still showing up really dressed nicely, casual, but California style. And that's where it's up to you to identify what area you're in, who your target demographic is, and how you're going to dress, right? For me, I discovered it much later, t-shirt and jeans. It's a whole story that I tell where I show up one time when I finally was kind of discovering my style. I show up to a $3 million buyer appointment in Malibu, Hills of Malibu, and I'm wearing my Cocoa Puff shirt. Get out of the car, the first thing the client says, which is a designer for like Johnny Depp, Nicolas Cage, and they're like, oh my gosh, Cocoa Puffs, I love Cocoa Puffs. Hits her husband on the shoulder and says, look, he's wearing a Cocoa Puff shirt, I love it. And there was an instant connection. They ended up buying the home. That gave me more confidence to really get into this niche of who I really was. And we have to find that. It took me a little longer, like years, to get into it. So for me, that was a mistake. I thought I needed to suit up. You don't necessarily need to. Discover who you really are. Then the next one, number 4, not realizing how much effort it actually took to be financially successful. To me, looking into real estate when I first started, as I was starting up, I'm like, wow, these agents are driving amazing cars, right? These agents are suited up, they look great. And I didn't really know what the work looked like. Luckily, I did come from a world of telemarketing, so I was great on the phone. But I really didn't have a true understanding of how much work it actually took to succeed at a very high level. I didn't understand that this business can really bring you in and like it's nonstop if you let it. And so that took some years to really understand that I needed to have a balance, because I went all in and I would work from when I woke up all the way into the evening. And I was already married. To bring my wife over to see property with me, and she was like a real estate agent, but not, right? Because she was with me on everything. And I realized that as I was growing into the business that first year, I was like, whoa, this takes a lot more work than I thought. But at the same time, I was succeeding. I had to find that balance. And one thing that nobody tells you coming into this is that it takes a lot of work. My first week, my first day in real estate, I door knocked just about 6 hours straight, right? So I learned a lot just from the first day. I'm like, what not to wear? I need some water. I need a pen and a pencil, or I need 2 pens, and I need something to write with because I'm meeting so many different people. And then I kept on going from there. Like, what else can I do? A call? Oh, how many calls does it take to set up an appointment, right? How many appointments do I need to go on to actually get a listing? How many listings do I need to take in order to sell? How many buyers do I need to take on in order to close one? And I mean, it's very competitive out there. That's one thing not a lot of people tell you. It takes hours and hours and hours of making yourself better and better and better. And that's one thing that effort you put in, nobody told me, hey, you're gonna probably need to put in more than 40 hours a week, probably 50, 60 to succeed at the level that you want to succeed in, right? And I wanted to succeed in at the highest level, which I ended up doing, but it took a while. So I think it's important to really break down what this looks like. Talk to top producers out there. Talk to people that are doing amazing, that look like they're doing amazing to you, and have them share what they're doing on a daily basis so you can see that it's not as easy as you think. It takes a lot of work. That's number 4. Number 5, not watching what I was eating. Wow, that first year took me for a loop. I went from having a lot of time and planning my breakfast and lunch as much as I was planning them, to showing property left and right, going to listing appointments, going on this and that, and picking up just fast food whenever I could, if I remembered to eat. And if I didn't, I would just kind of pick a whole bunch of food at the time that I had to eat and just munch it down. And that was not healthy. So that was one thing that I completely failed at my first year. And I'm telling you ahead of time, because now what we do, the team, is we at least know we're going to be showing property ahead of time. So think ahead of time and plan at night. Hey, I'm going to be showing property all day tomorrow. I'm probably not going to have time to stop by to get something healthy to eat. So rather than me being reactive and going to McDonald's and grabbing 2 Big Macs, French fries, and a Coke, why don't I plan ahead and maybe have some healthy snacks and fruits in the car and a whole bunch of water, right? Just in case I need it or just in case somebody else needs it. So that is something that I learned along the way. I wish I learned that my first year, but I didn't. Now, next one is crucial, because this one I was starting to learn my first year, but I really lost it as I got busy. And that's, I didn't have a schedule for prospecting routinely. And what I mean by that is, initially I would start prospecting in the morning. I'm like, hey, I'm going to just door knock. This is how it looked. I'm going to door knock and I'm going to call the whole day. Well, I didn't plan on actually getting business from it. It's like, okay, now that I have business, when am I going to prospect? And what happened is, my first year, I got so busy that it created a roller coaster ride, right? I was so busy, then I wasn't. I was busy, then I wasn't. That consistency wasn't there. And that dragged on for years until I figured out, hey, you know what? It looks like I'm always going to have to be prospecting, so I need to have this sacred time. I'm always going to have to be following up with past clients, my sphere, and I need help, right? So I reached out to get help, whether it was a transaction coordinator, which was my first hire, or an admin. But the point is, make a schedule and plan ahead, because you will start getting busy. And once that happens, if you just go and show, you go to listing appointments, you're doing all that and you forget to prospect, you're going to have a roller coaster ride. That's what you don't want in this business, because it gets harder. The last point here that I have, number 7, this I wish I would have done way earlier, and that was not teaming up. I didn't team up with a luxury agent, in my case a luxury agent, for the listing appointments that I had that were luxury. And this can apply to really anyone. If you're going on a listing appointment for the very first time and you really don't know that specific type of listing, horse property, beach property, cabins, farms, different types of possible listings. If you don't know that world, do yourself a favor. Team up with a top producing agent from that area that understands that world, and do it as a 50-50 with that agent. Bring them in and say, hey, I have a listing appointment, so-and-so. You want to come along with me on this one, because I'm not really well versed on this. I'm learning. And if I would have done that my first year, not only would I have gotten that $4 million listing, but I would have continued to get luxury properties. Now, I learned this much later. I wish I would have done it my first year. So now I'm telling you, if you have an opportunity to list some amazing homes, or just homes in general that are outside of your area or outside of just what you normally list, it's time to bring in somebody who knows that better than you. So those are my 7. I'll go through them really quick again. Number 1, not getting a CRM quickly enough. Number 2, have a system and process for past clients so you follow up with them. Number 3, I thought I needed a suit. I didn't. So look, find who you are quickly on. Feel comfortable with that. You'll attract your tribe. Number 4, not realizing how much effort it actually took to financially succeed. I needed to apply a lot more effort to get to where I wanted to get to, which I finally did, but it was a big adaptation for me. Number 5, not watching what I was eating. I wish I would have eaten better my first year, and my second year, my third year, and my fourth year. It just got worse. Number 6, not having a schedule for prospecting routinely, so I don't have this roller coaster ride. And number 7 is not teaming up with an agent that is a pro for that specific listing that I'm trying to get. That's all I've got for you today. And remember, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on that subscribe button, click on that little bell, and just give me that support because I do this all for you.